Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida
Namamida Butsu, Namamida Butsu, Namandas, Namandas, Namandas. Welcome to our New Year's Eve service. 2021 was a very challenging year for everyone. We are ending our second year of the pandemic, still wearing masks, limiting our gatherings, and trying to keep the COVID virus from spreading. We are very grateful that vaccines are available and that people are staying strong during these difficult times. Let us end this year with gratitude towards all living beings, known or unknown, who have helped us live this precious life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandas. Namandas. Namandas.
Please join me in Gasho. May this merit virtue be shared equally with all beings. May we together awaken the Bodhi mind and be born in the realm of serenity and joy. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandaps, 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 namandaps. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our New Year's Eve Joya service for the year of 2021. We are almost at this year's end, and unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we are not able to have this service in person once more. Let us hope that times do get better next year and that we will be able to have this wonderful service in person where we can all gather here at the temple, listen to the words of the Buddha, and ring in the new year with everyone ringing the kancho bell. Usually that's rung 108 times, so we'll see how many people show up and how many cycles that they will have to ring the bell in order to ring it to 108 times. Then, usually at after the service is finished, we have our toshikoshi soba, where we eat long soba noodles and hot broth and sort of symbolize that as longevity and long life in the next year to come as well. You know, as we look back on the year of 2021, we can understandably see that there was a lot of hardship, a lot of political turmoil, a lot of blind passions going all over the place. And so when we see sometimes times of hardship and times of sadness, it really can be it can really affect us in a negative way. But there were some good things that happened this year as well. And especially if not shown in the nation, it could also be things that happened in your life. So we can also realize that while there's a lot of bad that happens, there could also be a lot of good that happens as well. And this goes to show us once more that the truth of the Dharma is always present in our lives, always present. This means that sometimes life is really, really hard. Sometimes life can give us lots of challenges. Sometimes we see things or hear things that cause us anxiety and stress. But there are also things in this life that cause us great joy. There are graduations that still were able to occur. The vaccination was able to come out this past year. People were able to start gathering again, and even though there were a couple of surges in the coronavirus variants, we were still able to take safety measures and precautions, and we were able to start gathering with our friends again. This year, myself, I was able to gather safely with my family since we're all fully vaccinated and boosted as well. And it was such a warm and joyous occasion. And with that in mind, you know, there are times during this past year where I myself was very upset, very angry, and was very emotional. But then there were other times as well that I was able to really understand or really get a grasping that, this is how the Dharma works. And we as imperfect beings all experience moments like this. So this is why I think when we do our chants, right? The chant that the Gosandai, the quote that I did today, comes from every single chant that we do. And I'll read it to you again. May this merit virtue be shared equally with all beings. May we together awaken the Bodhi mind and be born in the realm of serenity and joy. Now, you may not know, or if you haven't read a service book in a while, you may not know where that comes from. So just in case you forgot where this part comes from, I will say it in Japanese's mispronunciation of Chinese's mispronunciation of Sanskrit. Gannishi kudoku, byodo seisai, dohotsu bodaishin, ojo anrakoku. Or Gannishi kudoku, byodo seisai, dohotsu bodaishin, ojo anrakoku. For those of you who have come to services before and have chanted with us before, you know that after every single chant that we do, we say this one part, or we chant this one part. Usually this is done in a very melodic tone. But we've never actually sometimes have talked about why we do this part, why we do what we call echo, right? The EKO, echo, or what's often translated as to merit transference. Now remember, as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, it's not me as the priest who's transferring merit to everybody. What this is, right? What this is telling us is that it's reminding us that we entrust ourselves to the realm of serenity and joy. We entrust ourselves to Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. We remind ourselves again that Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion, the working of the Dharma, continuously works for us. And we say this in hopes that eventually all beings will become aware of the great working of the Dharma, will become aware of the great working of other power, tariki. We say this in hopes or in, that may this merit virtue be shared equally with all beings. And we hope, we say this in reminding ourselves of the wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha. We say this as a reminder to all of us that the working never stops. So naturally, as 2021 comes to a close, it's very easy for us to look at this year as sort of a finite thing. And it is. The year is a finite thing. The end of the year is coming, right? This is the end of 2021. And for us personally, we will not repeat this year, 2021, ever again. We can't go back in time, yet at least. And we cannot relive moments again. We cannot go back in time. I know there are, we sometimes say that we have regrets, or we look back and we say, oh, if I would have done things differently, I would have done it at this time. And of course, we have these moments, maybe if we go to a casino or something and we see what the next card is in a blackjack deal, and we say, oh, if I had just hit one more time, I would have gotten a 21, or oh, if I had just picked this number in the lottery, I would have won the lottery. When we see things that happen in the present, our Bonbu nature sometimes causes us to look back at things in the past and go, oh, I wish I had known this now, right? Because we don't know what the future will bring. We don't know what 2022 is going to look like. Ultimately, we are very unsure of how things are going to turn out. All that we know now is what's happening right now. And then when this does happen, or sometimes when an occurrence does happen, we look back at the year. We look back at 2021 and say, I wish I had gone to this event, or I really wish I was able to do this, or I wish that I had known the numbers would be this way so I wouldn't have made travel plans. Or we constantly think about would have, could have, should have sometimes as the year comes to an end. And then what ends up happening lots of times is then we make New Year's resolutions. We say, okay, this is the thing that I'm going to do this year. I'm going to plan better this year. I'm going to save more money this year. I'm going to exercise more this year. I'm going to do this more this year. I'm going to go outside more this year. We look at maybe sometimes the mistakes or the things we wish we did in the year of 2021, and we go, oh, I really wish I had done that. But then what ends up happening is that we make plans for 2022, and we make what we call New Year's resolutions. And I talked about this in a previous Dharma talk, to sort of make goals for ourselves, to make these timelines for ourselves. And very rarely, most of the time, do these timelines or do these goals, sometimes these goals are achieved, and they should be, and you should work towards that. But you also shouldn't cement yourself so hard in planning these things. And once you do, then if it doesn't go the way you want it to, you get upset, and then the Bonbu nature comes out again. So this is why I think in many cases, and most of the time when we do chants, we say this merit transference, or echo. We say, may this merit virtue be shared equally with all beings. May we together awaken the Bodhi mind and be born in the realm of serenity and joy. It's a constant reminder that, once again, we as imperfect beings cannot hope to achieve full enlightenment on our own. We cannot hope to, or we have in a way accepted that on our own or by our own self-power, that we cannot become enlightened by our own means. So therefore must rely on the working of the Dharma to continue to guide us through this life, in this present life. That Amida Buddha accepts us, all sentient beings, as we are. So you do not need a six-pack in order to go to the Pure Land. You don't need to weigh a certain weight in order to go to the Pure Land. You don't need to donate to hundreds of thousands of dollars to a certain charity to go to the Pure Land. Not that. Now, all that being said, this doesn't mean that I'm saying that you shouldn't be healthy, right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't be healthy. I'm saying you should be healthy, and you should moderate, and you should definitely try to make good decisions with, what you eat or what you put into your body, and you also should definitely try to be generous when you can. You shouldn't try to think just of yourself. But that being said, Amida Buddha accepts us as we are, and once again, it doesn't matter that the year 2021 is coming to a close. This doesn't mean that Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion stops working. This doesn't mean that the working of the Dharma doesn't stop either. If anything, these year-end marks are good reminders to us that our time on this earth, that our time is finite, and that we should live our lives to the best of our abilities. We should live our lives to as close as we can to the Dharma as possible, because we don't get to repeat this life. And yes, there are future conversations that we should have about the concept of reincarnation in Buddhism, but ultimately, as I am now, as I have defined myself, Reverend Tadao Koyama, or another person, how you define yourself, you yourself, or me, myself, the concept of myself doesn't get reborn again, or doesn't get immediately repeated or transferred into a next life. So I can only live this life once. I should live it to the best of my abilities. And the end of another year, 2021, reminds me that our time here on earth is limited. And that doesn't have to be a scary thing. It can be a great truth that we take comfort in. It can be a great truth that we see and that we share, and that we can walk all together. Everyone here, when we come back in person, everyone sitting in the congregation will be at a different place in their lives and on the journey of the Dharma. So with that in mind, I ask us all to reflect on the year of 2021. Try not to think about regrets or say, oh, I should have done this, or I could have done this, or I would have done this. But let's all continue to move forward as time continues to do so without whether we can do anything about it or not. And let's go ahead and start this new year of 2022 with a great sense of gratitude. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining me today for our New Year's Eve Joya service. In closing, please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandaps, 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 namandaps.